Can you hear that? That's the sound of thousands of FPL wildcards being activated ahead of Game Week 24. But if you're like me and you're not activating yours, you're holding it for Game Week 32, which means you need a clear transfer strategy to navigate the next 5 game weeks. I'm Josh from FPL Hawley. I've 17 seasons playing FPL and I'm a top 2K all-time ranked manager. And here's the problem for managers like us. While we're sitting tight with 1 or 2 free transfers, the fixture swings are happening right now. Chelsea, Manchester United and Aston Villa all turn green, while Man City and Newcastle turn red. And if you don't move strategically, you're going to fall behind. So today, I'm showing you exactly how to navigate game weeks 24 to 28 without playing a wildcard. We'll cover the fixture landscape, your transfer priorities based on how many moves you have, and which transfers are actually worth taking a hit for. Then I'll show you the template wildcard, which wildcarding managers are building right now, so you know which players to target with your limited transfers. Let's get into it. First off, let's talk fixtures, because there's a big swing for some teams from game week 24 onwards. The teams turning green are the ones you need coverage for. Number 1, Chelsea. Look at this run. West Ham at home, Wolves away, Leeds at home, and Burnley at home. In FPL terms, this is literally as good as it gets. There is an argument that you could captain a Chelsea asset every week from game weeks 24 to 27. Number 2, Manchester United. They have Fulham at home, Spurs at home, West Ham away, and Everton away, and then Crystal Palace at home. Bruno Fernandes becomes a viable captaincy option in 3 or 4 of the next 5 game weeks. And number 3 is Aston Villa. Their fixtures are great from game week 24 to 28. Morgan Rogers has been in red hot form and he plays 90 minutes every single week. So if you've already got Bruno and Chelsea coverage, Rogers should be your next move. Now for the teams turning red. These are the ones you should avoid. Man City. They have Spurs away, Liverpool away, Fulham at home in game week 26, which is okay. But after that, it gets tough again with Newcastle at home and then Leeds away. So if you still own Foden or Nico O'Reilly, now could be a good time to move them on. Newcastle, their fixtures worsen significantly. They have Liverpool and Man City away between game weeks 24 and 27. Chow could also be on the sell list as clean sheets may be hard to come by. And finally, Brentford. They have a very tough next 3 games. They have Villa and Newcastle away and then Arsenal at home. But their fixtures do turn nice again in game week 27 onwards. So if you own Thiago like me, he's a long-term hold. Let's get tactical. So here's your transfer priority framework based on how many free transfers you have. So if you have 1 transfer, you should make 1 move, and it's got to be Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United's fixtures turn. Bruno is on penalties, he's on set pieces, he plays 90 minutes every single week, and he's arguably a captaincy option in 3 or 4 of the next 5 fixtures. So if you don't own Bruno Fernandes, he should be the guy that you move for. So who do you sell to bring in Bruno? So Phil Foden. City's fixtures worsen, and he's not returning consistently enough at his price. A straight move from Foden to Bruno, if you can make it work, would be perfect. And honestly, any non-performing midfielder in that 8 to 10 million range, like say Bukayo Saka, they could also easily become Bruno. So to reiterate, with 1 free transfer, Bruno Fernandes should be your number 1 priority. So 2 or 3 free transfers gives you options. So here's my priority order. So priority number 1, Bruno Fernandes, as already discussed. Priority number 2, Enzo Fernandez. Now, I know some of you are thinking, what about Cole Palmer? So here's the situation with Cole Palmer. Palmer didn't even make the squad at the weekend, and he's clearly dealing with a recurring injury. He's 10.4 million, and Palmer is just too expensive to take a punt on right now. Enzo, on the other hand, played 90 minutes at the weekend in that number 10 role, and he scored a penalty. Enzo is 6.7 million at the time of recording. He's often on penalties and set pieces when Palmer's not on the pitch, and Chelsea's fixtures are just incredible. But watch out. Chelsea play Napoli on Wednesday night in a must-win Champions League match. So keep an eye on Palmer's involvement and general minutes for Chelsea players before you finalise your transfers this game week. If Palmer starts and is fit, the situation changes. But right now, based on what we know, Enzo is the safer pick. And then priority number 3 is Trevor Chalobah. So Chelsea's defence rotates heavily, but Chalobah is the exception. Apart from one suspension, Chalobah has started every single Premier League match this season, which means guaranteed minutes. At 5.6 million, you're getting Chelsea defensive coverage during their best fixture run of the season. He has clean sheet potential over the next 5 game weeks, and he's got goal threat. Chalobah has 3 goals and an assist already this season. So to summarise, Chalobah is a nailed starter, brilliant fixtures, and a really solid pick. And then priority number 4, Morgan Rogers. So if you've already got Bruno, Enzo, and Chalobah, Rogers is next. He's 7.7 million. Aston Villa's fixtures from 24 to 28 are great. Rogers plays 90 minutes every week, and he's already delivered 7 goals and 5 assists this season. So players to move out: Foden and O'Reilly, because City's fixtures worsen. Chow, because Newcastle's fixtures are really tough. And then you can also look at Ekitike and Saka. So both of these form and minutes have been really poor. Their fixtures also aren't great. A downgrade on either one of these could be great enablers to upgrade to the listed players above. So if you've got 2 to 3 free transfers, Bruno first, Enzo second, Chalobah and Rogers to follow. So here's where I draw the line on taking hits. So what is worth a -4? Bruno Fernandes. He has multiple captaincy fixtures over the next month. A -4 would pay for itself in one return. So again, if you don't have Bruno Fernandes yet and you need to get him, I would take a hit to get Bruno Fernandes in. Maybe worth a -4 would be a fit and firing Cole Palmer, but again, only if he's confirmed fit and starting. If you can engineer him in with a hit and he's definitely playing, Chelsea's fixtures are good enough to justify it. But don't punt on an injured premium. Wait for that confirmation. Now, my case study, and I'm going to talk you through when a -4 actually makes sense. So in my situation, this is where hits can be potentially strategic. So I've got problems. Tavernier's injured. I have Saka and Ekitike, and they're both expensive and underperforming. And I have Minte, who never starts. And I also need to upgrade either Van de Ven or Chow in my defense. So here's what I'm strongly considering. I could do Saka down to Rice, and then upgrade Minte to Enzo Fernandez and Van de Ven to Chalobah. So that's 3 moves, a -4. But why does this work? So 1, it solves 3 problems in one go. 2, it significantly improves my team for the next 4 game weeks. And 3, it gets me the better Arsenal midfielder long term, which is Rice over Saka. Rice is more consistent and he's much better value. And here's the key. I'm confident I'll absorb that -4 over the next 4 weeks. Double Chelsea coverage through Enzo and Chalobah instead of Minte and Van de Ven. That's worth 4 points easily in my mind. It's a calculated risk, it's not a panic move. But I'm drawing the line at a -8. So 3 moves, a -4, that's my limit. And the logic, if you're taking a hit, it needs to solve multiple problems or unlock captaincy fixtures. 1 sideways move for a -4, I wouldn't go for it. But 3 strategic moves that fix the structure of your team, yes, take a hit. Right, I'm going to take a quick detour now for those of you who are wildcarding. So here's what a template draft would look like, so everyone knows which players to target with the transfers. So I've gone for a 4-5-1 formation, which is targeting that big midfield 5. Why? Because the elite midfielders are exploding right now. Bruno Fernandes, Enzo Fernandez, Rice and Rogers. Rather than forcing budget into a second premium striker who blanks half the time, we load up on that midfield. So the key players: in goal, you've got Sanchez and Dubravka. You've got Chelsea coverage plus a playing 4 million backup goalkeeper. In defence, Gabriel at 6.8 million. He's the highest scoring defender in the game. Chalobah for Chelsea coverage, as already discussed. Then your budget option of Reynaldo at 3.8 million for Sunderland. He's a starting defender for one of the best home defences in the league at nearly rock bottom price. And then Timber for Arsenal for set piece threat. In midfield, this is where we spend big. So you've got Bruno Fernandes. Now Palmer is in this draft, but I just wanted to show you what you still could afford even if you had Palmer. So obviously, if Palmer's not fit and confirmed, he could easily beat Enzo Fernandez, and that extra 4 million or so can be distributed amongst the team. Then you're topping it off with Declan Rice and Morgan Rogers. You could then have a 5th midfielder in this draft like Njai, who rotates in when needed. But again, Njai could be easily upgraded here if you opt for Enzo Fernandez over Palmer. And then up front, Haaland for me is a non-negotiable. I've seen some drafts without him, but I personally would be keeping him. And then I'd go for 2 budget enablers. So Krupi Jr. at just 4.6 million from Bournemouth is getting starts and more minutes with those injuries to Tavernier and Kluivert. And then Mane at Wolves is just 4.5 million. He is playing as a midfielder, but he has started their last 4 games, and Wolves could double in game week 26. And then the captain plan, if fit, you could captain Palmer in game week 24, Otherwise, it could be Bruno Fernandes or maybe even Enzo Fernandez. You could then go Bruno again in 25, Haaland in 26 against Fulham at home, Enzo or Palmer in 27 against Burnley, and then Bruno Fernandes in 28 against Palace. So you've got all of your captains stacked for the next 5 game weeks. And it means as well you have multiple options, not just Haaland and hope. And that's the wildcard template. So if you're not wildcarding, your job is to target these players with your transfers. Bruno, Enzo, Rodgers, Chalobah. You won't get them all, but you can get the most important ones. So I'm really going to try and hold my wildcard for game week 32. That's my plan. I'm going to look to dead end into blank game week 31, wildcard out in 32, set up then for my bench boost in double game week 33, then play my free hit in blank game week 34, really allowing me to maximize my wildcard. But here's what would make me activate earlier. So trigger 1 would be player suspensions or injuries I just can't avoid. So if I lose another 2 players I'm relying on to suspensions or injuries that wreck my structure and I can't navigate around them with transferred, I'd have to reassess. So I've already got an injured Tavernier in my team, and if 2 more go down and I can't fix it with 2 or 3 free transfers, then I'm wildcarding. And then trigger 2 for me would be rank collapse. So if my rank drops below probably 500k, I'm currently 200k for context, and my team structure is fundamentally broken, not just a bad week, but absolutely broken, I definitely consider a wild card. But it would take an awful lot to get me to pull that trigger early. But barring those scenarios, hold. Use your transfer strategically, build towards that game week 32, and don't buckle under the peer pressure. So that's your game week 24 strategy if you're not wildcarding. Target Bruno Fernandes and Enzo Fernandez with your free transfers, match the wildcard template as best you can without using your wildcard chip, and hold your wildcard for game week 32 unless disaster strikes. Are you wildcarding in game week 24 or holding? Drop your transfer plans in the comments below. I'd love to see the split in the FPL community. And if you found this video helpful, subscribe to FPL Hawley. I make videos like this every single week. Clear strategy, no panic, just smart FPL made simple. And whether you're wildcarding or not, best of luck in game week 24.